What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 31 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Orion Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, a bunch of stuff happened, but only one thing mattered, and that thing was the destruction of the filthy Red Horn tribe of beastmen that we've been chasing around for what feels like a third of this campaign. They were never a real threat, but they were annoying to our poorly defended outposts. So I'm glad they're gone, and hopefully we won't be seeing their ilk again. Now, in terms of what we got to do this time around, we have the two ritual armies spawned around Alka the Wandering Wield, and he will be taking them down. And we'll see what else we can do, as there's potential for another forced encounter with Orion, depending on whether he gets just a battle marker. I have PTSD from the beastmen camps or hidden encampments or whatever. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff to do. Anyway, Dave, we are not going to start with you. We probably should start with Orion, which I guess means a battle pretty much immediately, assuming he can get to... he cannot get to. You know what? That means I think we'll let somebody else have the encounter. The thing is, we have a 1 turn left of the hunt, and I think we're probably better off... A moment. Huh, wait, why has he lost movement? But he can still go into the world routes. I mean, we could do this and then... I'm just thinking we might still be able to go to Orion's camp next turn anyway, even if we don't use the Wild Hunt to do it. So maybe it's worth our time. I just want to see... those Stag Knights in action. So I guess we're going to do this like this. Go. And what do we have here? Unhappy Tree Spirits and relationship with Empire Reduction. But oh well, what can you do? The Elves of Loren frequently trade with humans of Middenland. Some of those traders have attempted to defraud the Elves. The courts of men are unwilling to help. Maybe violence could solve the problem. It'd do. Attack. What do we have here in terms of the... Oh my word, you got to love the armies from these forest encounters. Luminarch, Steam Tank, a bunch of cannons and Hellblasters, a Demigryph Knights. Yeah, this was worth it. This was most definitely worth it. Go. Alright, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, what you've all been waiting for, what you've asked for, time and time again. The great Stag Knights are on field in Orion's army, and looking pretty darn fantastic, if I do say so myself. The great Stags by themselves are pretty cool when they're used as mounts, and the Knights themselves looking decently heavily armored and knight-like, with those leaf cloaks, pretty darn great as well. Less wild looking than the basic or the vanilla Wild Riders. And I'm sure they'll work very nicely in concert with the other Wild Riders as well, who don't have the leaf cloaks. And we've got these are the Great Stag Knights regular variants, and then these are the Lost Stag Knights, Lost Sylvan Knights, a regiment of renown as well. Though they are supposed to be ethereal, they don't look like ghosts at all here, and look very similar to the regular Stag Knights, minus the, once again, those leaf cloaks that I was praising. But at least they do look different in appearance because of it. I'm just checking out the differences as well. They got the big old leafy plumes as opposed to these kind of plumes. Oh, I kind of like the leafy plumes better. Feels more appropriate, doesn't it? I guess this is this what they look like in vanilla? I don't even remember anymore. Anyway. Anyway, that's this army now at this point. The final form of this army. And I just had to gush about it a little bit. The way that this army will now function is that the Great Stag Knights will lead from the front, and then we have the shielded units of shielded units of Wild Riders moving together with them as the front line, as the tankier units. Directly behind them will be the unshielded units and the Regiment of Renowned Wild Hunters that will smash into the line as well, but not spread out completely, because we want to just drive through the enemy army and hopefully silence any of the enemy artillery before they can achieve anything. We also got a sub-commander thing going as our Glade Captain leads the charge of Stag Knights, as our Waywatcher commands our Eagles, and of course as Lady Ariel commands her Sisters of the Thorn, and Orion commands the entire army. I like a sort of sub-commander thing going in armies, generally speaking. Hawk Riders can move on into the melee as well. Certainly don't want those cannons firing upon us, and even if we can't charge through with all of our Wild Riders and our Stags, we can certainly tie the enemy up with the rest. And heck, why not? We can even have the Sisters of the Thorn join in the melee as well, and just run wild through the entire enemy army. Enemy army's having a pretty bad day as well. There we go. Just like that, they lose their morale and they get crushed. And that's why I wanted to talk about it before we and paused it before we engaged the army, because they got obliterated so quickly. I mean, it's a pretty insane charge. Both the Wild Riders and the Stag Knights have such insane charging capabilities that anything they can reach will melt very quickly. So hardly surprising that this happened. Anyway, there we go. We'll chase down most of the enemy army, and, well, we'll be pretty darn effective at that sort of thing as well. And didn't really, we didn't really need to use the damaging spells of Lady Ariel either, but that's alright. We won't need them here, but we will have the final battles of the campaign where we will put her abilities to a little bit more use. Well, she did get to heal a few, and that's all fine for this. Alright, well, there we go. That's about as elite a human stack that we're ever liable to encounter, and my lord did they get crushed. Looks like the kills were 3 from the Demigryph Knights, not surprising, as they're the halberd variant as well, and the other 2 were from cannon fire from the steam tank and from one of the great cannons. So good job to them for at least managing to do something. And I guess, Orion, you're gonna have to move next turn, assuming you are not, in fact, in Lorelorn right now, which you are not. Alright. Fine, fair enough. Enemy killed in battle, faction destroyed the Empire, Hawk Companion for Lariel, you don't, or Ariel rather, you don't need it. Who's next? Builder Ara probably doesn't need to move because she's a builder. Durthu. Yeah, go hunt down Drash. Just a quick little auto resolve for us, and then maybe raise the Black Fortress as well. Auto. Let's see how much damage this does to us. Yeah, still hurting the Dryads, but well, that's what we expect at this point. Abduct the captives so that we can ease into raising this place. Income from whoa. A moment. Income from province capital settlement buildings plus 5% faction-wide but not up. Ha! Funnily enough, this is probably a really good trait for the Wood Elves to try to spam. Well, probably not as good as the research rate trait, since the Wood Elves don't have an easy way to get a research rate, but nonetheless. And ooh, Dragon Isles up to 2.5k per turn. Pretty darn solid. They are the 4th most money-making territory, and nearly tied with nearly tied for second, essentially, as well. So, yeah, pretty impressive. Anyway, to resolve this, a little bit of damage, and raising is worth, not that much, but nonetheless, raise it anyway. I don't imagine the Black Fortress is one of these special locations. I don't think it is. I think basically any location that has that thing that says, like if you take a look at a camera, for example, that says this, greatly increases health of settlement walls, towers, and gatehouses, meaning it's a special location for that particular faction, so it should be for us as well. And I don't think it was one for these guys, at least I doubt it. I could double check. Fine. I mean, yeah, it'll cost us 8.7k if we're wrong, but double check it. And yeah, it's just a normal location. Unfortunate. I guess we'll just trade it away to... I wonder if we could get Gold Tooth to declare war on either the Greenskins or on Trutch by giving them this. Fine, build the Azrael Lookout. Horrible waste of money, but at least Durthu will heal here. And he has to wait for his treatment anyway, so... why not? Loren. You, I guess, are good here now, and you're going to move back to protecting these territories, so you've got places to be. Yeah, we could grab this fell cargo here. I wonder if the auto-resolve will let you. It might not. Oh, we're about to find out. This army isn't really for auto-resolving, but a few extra islands might... Actually, you know what? Don't bother. Well, actually, I lied. Bother. Okay, yeah, neither of these will help. Wax sealed rations, a little bit of upkeep reduction. Sure, why not? Guess you could grab the Sea Corps while you're here. Oh! There's that camp. I assume it's their last one. Maybe we should go down here and destroy them, or else they'll just build another army and then head towards us yet again. Now, I wanted to send Dave somewhere. Can't get here, so we won't be able to make use of the jumping, eh? We could send him down here to Bitterstone Mine. Oh, if we go here, we'll be in our own territory, so we'll heal. I guess we'll go to Dakharaz. And then possibly hit Bitterstone Mine and kill off the Ghoul King. Alright, who's up next? The Builder Findal doesn't need to move because he's a builder. I forget who... Alright, yeah. Iskura, you are going to grab the Sea Corpse and then move in and raise Poxmarsh, I think. Loot Carcass, auto-resolve. Teensy bit of damage, heal it up. Let's see if we get anything nice out of that. And we got ourselves nothing, just money. Not that I'm complaining about the money, mind you. Go to the Poxmarsh, land there and raise it. It's barely even worth raising. Maybe we seed it and trade it instead. At least this way, we'll heal to full and then be able to sail out of here immediately and then grab this island as well. At least until you're ready to go back to the Sacred Pools, you don't really need to do anything else. Alright, fine by me. Alright, Enchanted Shield, yet another Enchanted Shield, I should say. Your items are otherwise fine, however. Who's up next? Builder Findal, Aka Iskura, that was you. Ellen Delling. Alright, try to chase down these frickin' beastmen. I don't wanna, I don't wanna leave them alive. It's too concerning. You are... I'm gonna go through Wings of the Forest. You already have Striking Branches, and here we need not the Forest Roar, but Swift and Sturdy. And... wait, does Swift and Sturdy is everything? We have Hawk Riders, Sisters, and Glade Riders here. Hawk Riders, Sisters, Glade Riders. Alright, so we can just go straight into Stand Your Ground. Wonderful. Alright, and then I guess... do we need to level these guys? Maybe you. You are not yet at rank 14, so not so much. And you have one with the Forest maxed out. What about you? I guess we could go for, let's say, Cleanse the Forest. No, you know what? Sabotage into... Cunning? Probably not super useful, whatever. Anyway, let's declare war on these guys and... not call our allies to help, just in case they're like, no, and, you know, cancel their agreements. Kill this. Oh, because our Hawk Riders are hurt, the auto-resolve might not work. And we've got attrition. I don't like that. But we should be able to go into a camp stance after this anyway, so we should be fine. Auto-resolve? Doesn't look like it's killing them, but I don't trust the AI, or I don't trust the auto-resolve, so I'm gonna quick save it here, just in case. It's gonna damage the Eagles or the Hawks, yeah. But we'll heal them up. And we're heading towards the Monolith of Catan anyway, so we'll go into a camp stance and... I mean, I guess while we're here, we could raise the Varg camp. Just right beside it, anyway. Why not? Raise a few more places. And Blooded Axe Tribe, rather. Destroy. That one I did between the episodes, because it wasn't worth our time. We should trade it to these guys. We could do it next turn once we move northward. Guardian Azra doesn't need to move, because he's a Guardian Sisters of Twilight. I guess you can raise the Chill Road and then return to Nagaron. Valkia ran away, but because her army is kind of garbage, it doesn't really matter. Close victory. Eh. Honestly, it's such a weak army. I just don't think it's worth fighting. And we've already seen this, without dragons, we've already seen this army destroy a bunch of enemies, so it's not going to be really any different. And the enemy has one well, okay, it has Valkia, and then a couple of Marauder horses. We just kill everything here from up above. We don't even need to land. Just let them die. It's just not worth it. Sorry, Valkia. We will... You know what? If we raise it, we'll lose all our movement range. We're going to sack it. And maybe we can raise it afterwards. I'd rather be able to return to Nagaron this turn in order to heal to full... Oh, wow, our Great Eagles got ripped apart by the auto-resolve. Gotta be careful with that. I don't know, I wasn't even expecting that, damn. Alright. On the right side, this will be more weapon strength for them, or melee attack for them, so that's not bad. Forest Spirit, Hawk Companion, Hunting Hound, Young Stag, lots of ancillaries for our trouble. We do want to make the Sisters of Twilight get out of here. We need somebody to guard Nagaron, but it doesn't necessarily have to be them. I will consider. Recruiter is fine, Builder is obviously fine. Draika, you were heading to deal with Vladi one last time, so move over there. He'll be able to get more. Maybe we'll fight him one last time, depending on if he raises some dead or builds some more crossbows. Silly though it at least somewhat is. And I lost Drake. Okay, there she is. Alright, Stressa doesn't need to move, Ellendelling does not. Akka, it is time for you at last to hit these guys, and armor-piercing weapon damage I think is going to be needed against the Forces of Chaos. I like it. Go. Heroic victory. Very nice. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see indeed. Lots of Chaos Warriors, decent piles of Chosen, aspiring champions. Certainly something for the Blade Singers to have a proper fight with. I love it. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Akka versus the second of the ritual armies, and this time it's not an ambush, and on top of that they're holding a choke point, though I'm not so sure that that is to their benefit as much as it is to ours. I guess we're going to find out. And, well, I think it'll be a proper good old-fashioned fight. Anyway, I was hoping to try to draw the enemy forward, so we're going to pop off a Penumbral Pendulum in the line of enemies, hoping that that annoys them enough to move towards us. That said, despite the fact that that was an overcast Penumbral Pendulum, as we can see, it barely did any damage to those Chaos Warriors and Chosen. They got lots of HP, they got lots of armor, and it's hard to dish out massive amounts of damage to them. So we're gonna have to do so with a little bit of good old-fashioned melee action. Now this time, having learned from my previous battle, I did not tell the Blade Singers and the Zotes to charge, instead allowing the Treekin to be the first into combat. This allows them to take the charge and the brunt of the damage from the enemy Chosen and Chaos Warriors, and allow the Blade Singers to dish out the damage without being threatened. Not that the Blade Singers are particularly fragile. It calls them a glass cannon, but with 71 melee defense, even with the low armor, and it's still plenty. Anyway, the Chaos Warriors and Chosen stream down to fight us in great numbers, foolishly leaving their lord behind. We pop the Befuddlement of Mischiefs, which is one of Akka's bound abilities, stopping him in place, as well as clipping the rest of his units and preventing them from coming to his aid. The Assassins of the Forest Eagles will surround and destroy the enemy lord, while we keep the rest of his Chaos host busy. And there we go, our line is most definitely holding. Kind of hard to see what's going on with all those effects, but what we can see is the enemy lord's HP absolutely dwindling. And there we go. The enemy lord's HP is, well, the enemy lord dies, and that's a morale shock to the enemy. We're going to follow up with a second morale shock as the enemy loses a bunch of HP to another overcast penumbral pendulum, moving through their entire line. Just as the penumbral pendulum finishes, that's when we hit the enemy in the back with all of our Forest Eagles with a rear charge, and then charge them from the front as well with all of our war lines. Those things combined are enough to morale shock the entire army, and as we can see, despite the fact that they have plenty of HP remaining, the entire army will shatter. Basically, we used a ton of leadership shocks all at once, which is pretty impressive considering this is not an ambush and is against the Chaos Army, which is high in leadership, especially as these are elite Chaos units. So, a Lord Death, a massive HP loss due to spell, a rear charge, and front charge all at once. So, sorry to the Chaos Warriors, but they did not stand a chance there, and I guess the choke point did indeed work in our favor. Lovely. Ah, that was glorious. The morale shock was absolutely perfect. That massive penumbral pendulum while the enemy was being held by the anvil of the rest of our units, and then immediately the rear charge with all the great Forest Eagles and the front charge with the war lines smashing the entire infantry line and forcing them all to rout, despite the fact that they still had like 70% of their HP or something. That was fantastic. Well done, Aka. This army composition, though we came by it somewhat randomly, is, I gotta admit, really working for me. Alright, now you can take care of that one Gorby's chariot, which survived with full HP, just booked it on out of there. Hopefully I didn't... Okay, good, no losses. And we will take the abduct captives for the little bit of extra mana, because we do need it. Another Royal Standard Bearer, another Banner of Swiftness, though admittedly we haven't really been using those. And... I wonder if this guy's gonna go after the gate. Can we get close? Ah, we're already at max movement range, aren't we? Alright, fine. I was hoping we could get close to the gate, because this guy's probably gonna try to go through it, I assume? I'm not entirely sure what happens. And then he'll bring it down. But I guess we could just give it back to these guys, whatever, all good. All good. Anyway, well done to Aka. Who is up next? Aka is, I think, close to the end of the list. And yes, indeed he is. In fact, we are exactly at the end of the list. And assuming that there's no buildings to build, which I don't believe there is, we're ready to end another turn and hopefully complete this ritual, well, minus the turns that we have to wait right after, assuming that nobody attacks us, of course. You know what, let's build some outposts, though. I've generally been skipping them, but, you know, take some missions while we're at it. Vlad is definitely going down. Let's see, Cultist Sotek. You know what, actually we're not going to build outposts, because we still have to spend massive amounts of cash on upgrading the big old tree. Why risk it? Alright, let's do that. And then we can end the turn. I wonder if Malekith will attempt to move towards us to retake Nagarondo, although somehow I have my doubts. Peace treaty with the Scraggy? No. And yeah, I think since we are, well, we have 3 incomplete trees plus the Oak of Ages, but most of them are heading towards tier 5, meaning we don't have to be super concerned about money, or at least won't have to be super concerned about money rather shortly, which is good because it means we don't need to sail around looking for islands, or at least we won't. Looks like these guys have taken Talax or Talash. Recruitment, Creator, great, and Trickster Cult discovered at Fort Oberstar, Confederation between Western Provinces and Rebel Lords of Nanyang. These guys keep building these Trickster Cults here. Which is funny, considering we intend to trade this away. The Wild Hunt, alas, slumbers, a Trickster Cult destroyed, and there we are. Now, the main thing we want to do is move Orion. So, Orion, you're going to go to the edge of Athel Loren. And assuming that there's... Okay, we can build some stuff for free because Ariel has that massive reduction. Then we're gonna deep roots you all the way to Orion's camp. Like so. And yeah, we have it on cooldown for 1 turn, which is fine. This makes it 22k, pretty solid. And we will build the growth thing here as well as... Let's go for... Haunted Groves, and I'm going to say another Warhawk Crags, like so. Then, Orion, you're going to march stance all the way past Casa Bar, right here. And you're going to, I guess, sack or raise Springs of Eternal Life, and then head directly for Khemri. You should also probably have a lord following you around, and I don't want to use the Builder Lords for that, because they have other uses. Build one of these guys. Anybody move fast? Anybody have the fast mover trait? No, it doesn't look like it. Weapon strength and missiles damage plus 10% when attacking. Huh, this is the first time I think we've seen this one as well, damn it. It's a weird luck with the lords. Yeah, maybe Orion will be fine. I wonder if we could just bypass the Springs of Eternal Life. Oh, I guess we could use one of these armies for it. I was going to... You know what? I was going to send Data in to deal with these guys, but... Well, no, they probably still need help. I guess we could send Strasslaeth over there. Strasslaeth, go here. You won't heal as much, but it'll be enough. And then Data in, we will ignore Orion's camp. I don't see any enemies near there. So you will... Yeah, we'll ignore Mount Arachnos. We'll head down here to the Cursed Jungle, probably fight off at least a couple of these guys, maybe either transfer some territories or create a ruin barrier and then back away, just because we don't want to waste our time with them. And Deluric, you could probably take Sarl Encampment, but it'll have to be between the episodes because it'll have to be a manual fight, and it's kind of a waste of time right now. That said, we do want to trade the Bay of Blades. Okay, we'll deal with you in a second. How many troops does it have? Not a lot, but it does have the... Yeah, I'll do it between the episodes, waste of time. You can have the Bay of Blades. And we'll take the Defensive Alliance and the Trade Agreement as well. Lovely. And this will give us a vision, and they're willing to go straight into Military Alliance. Fine by me. Fine by me indeed. And while we're here, any trade agreements? Jade Court, Cult of Sotek is nearly willing. It's probably the one to do. Oh, Cult of Sotek is perfect. Oh, you know what? Do we want a military alliance with them? They might randomly attack one of the other... Well, I mean, they're already fighting these guys. They can't re-attack them unless they peace out and attack. Somewhat unlikely they'll attack the Bretonnians. Let's just go. I think that's good. Surprisingly, the Ghosts of Pawash have not tried to get any kind of agreements. A little bit unfortunate. But oh well. Not a big deal either. Anyway, let's keep on going. Durthu, I believe you are up next. What do we have with you? So we've taken the Black Fortress. We will build just anything here. Doesn't really matter. Waystone, Foraging Groves. And we will maybe trade it to these guys. See if we can't get them to declare war. You can then... I mean, I probably don't want to trespass. We'll go to Scrap Towers and just hope... Man, I can't believe these Nurgle Plagues are still here. They've not run their course. They just keep going, and we've no easy way to stop them. They're not really any kind of threat to us, but they are somewhat annoying nonetheless. Go here. Now, these Dryads have been with Durthu for so long, I kind of feel like maybe we'll keep them in there. Granted, they're something of a liability, but whatever. They've served well, and I'm disinclined to get rid of them now. Let's do this. 4 Treemen, 6 Dryads, and Neighbors Angry Hedges, and tons of Treekin as well. And then we'll send these Treekin back to another army to, well, so that we can make use of them. Loren. I guess we don't really need the money anymore. Wait, did I upgrade the... I think I did. Yes, I upgraded the Orion's camp. Good. What was the other thing? Oh, Draca, ooh, he's got a full stack now. That's a lot of range. Yeah, you know what? That, I think, is going to be worthy of a fight. Do we have time to fight this right now? Or should we... Oh, you know what? You know what? We should fight this instead, because it'll complete the ritual. So double up on Akka. I do like the additional armor piercing. Yes, we'll go into Forest Call stance. It's also level you up before hitting them. Let us take Swinging Bows for more War Dancer power. And then you... I mean, more likely than not, you're probably not casting, and you already have Arcane Conduit. We do have some mana. You do overcast on occasion. Yeah, fine, let's go for Earthing. Actually, Occam's Mindrazor is a decent choice as well, because we tend to blob up, so it'll be a massive increase to armor piercing, so we'll probably use a couple more points to get that as well. Anyway, hit Veritas. And the relatively limited numbers of... oh, they have some fast movers, a couple of Dragon Ogre Shaggoths as well. That's quite nice. Close victory, low casualties. Let's see about that. Go. Alrighty, here we go, round 3, and the last of the ritual battles of the Gaian Vale. I'd say take your bets, but I think nobody is going to bet against Akka at this point. That said, the enemy has a little bit of a more interesting army than the other two were. It's got a couple of Dragon Ogre Shaggoths, which would definitely be a threat to the Forest Eagles, and, well, frankly, they would be a threat to a lot of things, being heavy-hitting tier 5 units with Bone Crusher available to them. Plus, the enemy has a Hell Cannon, and if we're blobbing up in the way that we currently are, the Hell Cannon will be able to take a few shots against the Blade Singers. They haven't yet lost any of the HP, but they have forced us, we have been forced rather, to use the Shield of Thorns in order to get the additional missile resistance. We're gonna have to play it a little bit risky with our Great Forest Eagles, as we absolutely need to silence those artillery. The enemy was smart to keep their Dragon Ogre Shaggoths back, however, as even though the Hell Cannon will get ripped to shreds, or at least its crew will, and the Dragon Ogres and Shaggoths will close and start dishing out massive damage to the Eagles rather quickly. So we gotta try to back the heck out of there before too many of our Eagles are trapped in the mass, and the enemy certainly does have mass in this particular blob. There we go, one of the Eagles is down to about half of its HP, and unfortunately our Zotes are too far away to cast Flesh to Stone on them. We're going to try to allow them to escape by using the Vortex of the Pit of Shades, which A, does damage, but also applies a Vortex effect, which means the enemy is a little bit getting sucked in, and also a little bit slowed by said Vortex effect. Aw, poor little eagle died. I feel bad now. You happy? And yeah, as I said, the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth's definitely a threat to the Eagles. They have a tendency to get stuck, but that's just generally a thing with flying units, and 2 will get brought down. That said, I do think it was worth it despite the damage that those guys took, and we were able to take out that Hell Cannon before it did massive amounts of damage to our battle line. Speaking of our battle line, it has clashed with the enemy now, and it looks like the Chaos Spawn and Dragon Ogres will charge in shortly, to be followed by the Shaggoths. We'll see how well these Shaggoths can fare against Treekin and Blade Singers alike, though I don't imagine they'll be particularly threatening against Akka himself. Here comes the other Shaggoth, trying to prevent one of the Treekin, or Treemen rather, from wailing upon the enemy lord. And if the enemy can if the enemy wants to blob up like this, we'll hit him with a nice Overcast Penumbral Pendulum and dish out decent armor-piercing damage. Alright, it does look like some of our units are taking damage. One of the Treekin has lost about 20% of its HP. And we do have to be careful about where we send our Eagles, since the enemy has all those Dragon Ogre Shaggoths. Big old melee of monstrous infantry whacking away at each other, sort of overhead, while below them the infantry continue to clash as well. Fortunately, between Shield of Thorns and the fact that we got a sort of semi-Death Star going, despite the fact that we are surrounded, we are still able to dish out massive amounts of damage to the enemy. Gonna try to focus down those Shaggoths and Dragon Ogres in general, as their armor piercing is probably going to be a pretty big threat. Our War Lions have also made it into the fray, once again having waited for the enemy to close and to be distracted, allowing us to rear charge. But specifically against Chaos, we got to be careful with the War Lions, because, well, obviously they're going to be fragile and will have a tough time against Chaos Warriors in a direct fight. But it looks like even the Dragon Ogres will not be enough here. The bounce power shift to about 90% in our favor. One of the Dragon Ogre Shaggoths has booked it on out of there and is attempting to return, while Akka moves in to try to intercept and prevent said Shaggoth from hurting any more Eagles. And it looks like it wants no more of that. We're breaking again. The right flank is still in the fight with a few more enemy Dragon Ogres holding the line. Actually, no, those are Zotes. I am wrong. Chaos Warriors, Chaos Spawn, holding the line, rather. And the Dragon Ogres were left on the left flank, though it looks like the last one, the last Shaggoth, will book it on out of there. And with that, the battle will be ours. Okay, well, the battle will be ours once we smash asunder this last Chaos Spawn, and it looks like one of the tree men will deliver the final blow. And there we are. With that, the battle is ours, and we got a little bit of chasing to do. Might be a little bit difficult to chase down the Shaggoths in particular, but we'll see. Man, too bad you can't... it's basically impossible, but too bad you can't get like a Chaos Warrior faction with a bunch of Dragon Ogres and then get Zotes as their support units. Because they look very, very similar to each other, and it would be nice to be able to use both. And oh, wow! Once again, gotta love those eagle mounts, even for spell singers, since we were able to chase down a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth and kill it. They still do hit fairly hard. Well done to Varl, and decent damage there as well. Anyway, a lovely fight, not so lovely for Chaos. Ritual complete. Alright, and there we have it, Ritual of the Gaian Veil now complete. Well done to Akka, just got to make sure we chase down the remnants of this army. 31k damage on one of the Blade Singers. They are the damage dealers, well, they're one of the damage dealers of this army. This army is very hammer and anvil, with the Treeman and the Treekin holding the line and being, well, if not invincible, just so hard to break through, and not dealing a crazy amount of damage, but that's just fine. A little bit of help from the supporting Zotes as well. Release captives, and we're over 100k gold, meaning hopefully we'll be able to afford the next few trees. Killed us. And that'll resolve it, and that should be the last of these armies here around the Gaian Veil. Heal up for the Winds of Magic, though... I mean, the idea is to hopefully use a different army for the various different rituals, so... Probably aren't going to use Akka again for that purpose, so we could send him to either guard somewhere or destroy some place or something. Something along those lines. Either way, though, we are out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. Next time, we'll try to mill through the turns for 4 more turns and then pop the next ritual. I wanted the next ritual to be the Witchwood, but I think it'll take more than 4 turns for the Sisters of Twilight to get there, considering they are... they not only have to travel, but there's also a bunch of enemies down here, so we might pop a different ritual first. The Griffinwood is ready, meaning we could send Drika up there fairly quickly, and that's pretty much our only option right now, so probably going to be the Griffinwood, which is lovely because after we fight the big old battle against Vlad next turn, actually, I was about to say the Dryads will be ready, but they're ready now. 1, 2, 3. Birch, Oak, and Willow. And what else do you need? You got the Shield of Isha as well. You, Birch, Oak, and Willow, Shield of Isha. physical resistance during forest battles. Not a big deal, but, you know, it's something. And birch, 4 armor piercing, oak, 4 armor, and willow, 8% speed, as well as shield of Isha. And then you already have birch, oak, and willow, and shield of Isha as well, so we'll deal with you at some point. And, ooh, hello. Coadel, you've got other stuff. Raiding faction-wide. Okay, we're not really going to be using that. More enemy spell resistance reduction. Very nice. Weapon strength when attacking own armies in province. Ooh, that'll power up the dryads even more. I love it. And I guess we'll get connected to the weave as well for that spell resistance. Minus 75 per aspect. That's aspect upgrades is not something we can do unless we're playing Droika, so that is irrelevant to us. We probably want Vissen's wild form though. Buff up everybody. Yeah. Alrighty, how are the dryads looking now? We got 76 armor and 42-36 on their traits, 48-42 on these guys. We also have them, or can buff them up even further by getting piercing thorns. We were going through this stuff, but maybe piercing thorns is now the way to go. And just max out the dryads as much as possible. And there we go, that's a +4, and they'll get even more weapon strength. They're up to 63, this is more than double their original weapon strength by the looks of it, and it'll be another 15% when we're attacking. So the dryads are going to be really, really hard hitting. Very, very nice. We'll see how effective they are here, but that'll be just the preview, because they'll have to be even more effective when we pop the ritual of the Griffin Wood. Anyway, stay tuned for more Orion. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm. Thanks for watching.